Hey everyone, happy Motivational Monday. All right, so I wanted to hop on quick and give you guys this message myself because I was so excited when I had this revelation over the weekend. So in church this weekend, we talked about, or one of the verses we talked about was Genesis 2:7. It talks about the story of creation, and Genesis 2:7 says, "Then the Lord God formed a man from the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living being." And I couldn't wrap my head around that. I thought that was just so amazing to think about how God took this most worthless, lowest thing of all his creation. He was done his creation. He made, the heavens and the earth and everything, and the fish and the animals and green grass and everything else. And yet, from the lowest of low, his creation, this dust from the ground, he chose that lowest thing to breathe life into, to become human, become the one thing made in his image. Nothing else in the Bible, in the story of creation, says it was made in his image except for man. And that man was this piece of dust, some dust from the ground, dust that was left over from the rest of his creation, right? And it's really hit me of how amazing are we as human beings that we are made of the most worthless, ordinary thing, yet through our God, we became the most extraordinary, the most amazing, the most self-image of him from dust. But I mean, that's really God's usual MO, isn't it? That's how our God acts. Our God takes the lowest and the most worthless in our eyes, and he uses that to raise up his kingdom and raise up his plans, right? And I'm thinking too, why dust? Why, in all of creation could be some grass or some leaves maybe, or, the bark of a tree or a raindrop. Why did he use dust? I think it's because the dust, like I said, was the lowest thing, the smallest thing, the most meaningless, menial thing in his creation. And yet that's what he wanted to do the most amazing work through. And that's the same goes for us today, right? No matter how we may feel about ourselves, we may be feeling like we're the lowest of the low in our job. We may be feeling like we're not extraordinary, or just plain old, me. I'm just plain old Heather. What can I do? And yet, that's exactly how God's going to use us. God's going to use the most worthless thing that we see ourselves as, and that's what he's going to use to work through his kingdom, work through his glory, work through his plans. He has a purpose for us. No matter how worthless you may feel, that purpose for you is greater than we could ever imagine. And that purpose for that piece of dust that he had was all of this, was you and me, from a speck of dust. Okay, so if that's how he can use this worthless speck of dust, there's nothing else we can do in ourselves, how we can see ourselves or anyone else for that matter, that is going to hold up against how he wants to use us and how he wants to use someone else in his plans and his purposes, right? Also got me thinking too, going back to this story of creation, how when the enemy was the serpent, and after he tricked Eve, he just made her crawl on your belly and eat the dust all the days of your life. And that's exactly where the enemy wants to keep us. The enemy right now is all he has below him is dust, this worthless thing. So if he can make you feel like dust, he can be above you, and that's his goal. His goal is to make you feel worthless, make you feel like you're nothing special, make you feel like you're that dust on the ground again. Even though our God, already created us to be higher than that. Our God created us to rule over everything else and be above the dust, to trample the dust. But the enemy's trying to hold you back and bring you back to that dust mentality, because that's all he's above. And that's what we need to fight that. We need to know who we are in God's image and God's truth, staying in his word, staying in prayer, and knowing who we are, so that's where we can be above the dust. We can be above the serpent where we belong. We believe that, the enemy is out to get us. The enemy, like a lion prowling, trying to devour us. And that's what the enemy can eat, right? He has to eat dust all the days of his life. So if he can bring us down, make us feel worthless physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, he can eat us. He can eat that dust and bring us back to where we started. And that's not who we are, though. We are above that. We are the creation from the dust. We are the higher of the dust. We are God's image from the dust. So we are not that dust any longer. That's what we need to know who we are in God and stay true to him, stay true to everything we're trying to accomplish through him, right? Because he wants to accomplish things through us. And that starts with knowing who we are and where we came from. So when we know where we came from that dust, we can stand confident and stand tall and stand proud, knowing that we are no longer that dust. I also thought about when Jesus sent out his 12 disciples, and he said to go out and feed the hungry and chase away demons and all these amazing things. And when he said when they were not welcome someplace, in Matthew 10:14, he said to shake the dust from your feet if they're not welcome there. And that's a reminder too, even like from the Old Testament dust, New Testament dust, that reminder even in the New Testament that we are greater than that dust. That if we come from where we go from and we're not belonging there, shake it off. Shake off those bad feelings. Shake off the unwelcomeness from, a coworkers or a student, friend, or acquaintance, whatever it may be. Shake off, those attacks from the enemy that say you're not good enough. Shake off the financial worries. Shake off the emotional anxieties. Shake off, the physical ailments that make us feel like we can't do this or do that. Shake off whatever the enemy is trying to hold us back from. Shake off whatever is doing those things, because God, Jesus himself, he sent us out to go do amazing things. Those amazing things God's purposed us for, right? So we need to shake off the dust, shake off the past, shake off those things that were holding us back, and know where we walk, where we belong, on top of the dust, ruling over creation, ruling over the purpose that God gave us, and moving through him, moving through this image he created us in to accomplish great things for his kingdom. Okay, so that's our goal for today, as Motivational Monday. And our goal for this week is to shake off the dust and live out your true calling as the creation from the dust, being risen up from the past, risen up from our shame, risen up from any anxiety or grief or disability we think we may have, rising up from that and rising up from where the enemy wants to keep us into the true calling and true image of God that he made us to be in over creation. All right, I love you guys. Have a great Monday. Walk strong, walk proud, walk confident in him. Mwah. Take care.